What's the deal? Yeah, what's the deal? What's the deal? How you feel? What's the deal? Where you at?
So y'all here? Y'all like inspiration? Y'all like motivation?
Denise Camille?
Y'all like ventilation?
Denise Camille?
Y'all know I gotta make up a few words here and there, but who y'all here with?
Ventilation and Denise Camille.
Under the act, but we not playing no games.
We're not into games. We don't like Sega, PlayStation, or Xbox.
So y'all here with Dilate the Dialogue with Denise Camille.
Dilate the dialogue.
We gotta open up, not them legs, but the mind.
Denise Camille.
Cause I know y'all trying to find y'all strength.
Denise Camille.
Intertwined with the life of me.
Denise Camille.
Greetings, y'all. Greetings. Welcome aboard. Y'all are here with Dilate to Dialogue with the one and only Denise Camille. Welcome. I am she I am. I am the urban love therapist, self-awareness coach. Y'all here with another episode of Dilate to Dialogue. I'm noticing I had an ill tan. I'm like, who? Why do I smell? Okay, whatever. How y'all doing? Great to be back. Great to be back on the mic, on the ones and twos. You know how I do, right? Y'all check out my product line, my hair care line, strength over length. Denise Camille cares, right? We care. I care. Everything is naturally made, organically flown. Check that out, the hair care line, the skin care and body care. We have some lotion, some whip lust. I know, right? Either way, keep it straight, right? So we have the hair care line. We got the massage oil for the spas. Y'all need that spa treatment. The massage is always needed. Shout out to the masseuses. Shout out to y'all because y'all do great work, right? Energy work comes in many forms. Y'all check out my books. I don't know why I don't have it over here. I don't know what's going on. Check out my books and Urban Life with Love, Justice for the Caged Mind. I have the free ebook. Check out those items, right? Purchase, support, share, like, comment, leave a review. I encourage all of it because it's a necessity, right? In order for me to grow, to get the word out, I want to be able to expand upon what is going on, right? And it's in a matter of getting to know self. Everything boils down to self-awareness, right? Knowing who you are when nobody's watching. Being aware of what bothers you, what triggers you, what turns you up a notch, what lights your fire, what keeps you moving, what keeps you creative. What are those things, right? What exactly are those things? I'm watching these earrings like, why does it look so much shorter? What are those things, right? And also, y'all check out my self-awareness deck where I usually get my topics from. Y'all check that out. It's on my website too. I took 52 of my topics. I know I have a lot more than that. 52, and I just expunged upon it. And it's something where you can, I know I'm a shuffler. I got my own decks, as far as divinity and oracle and all of that, And I allow spirit to move through. And quick one that just popped out was what? Inspire Innovation. Y'all check that out, right? Check out the books, check out the products, denise-camille.com, DENICE/CAMILLE, right? So I want to get into, I was looking for an electronic. I'm like, I know I got them all around here somewhere. Let me use this one. So today's topic is change requires sacrifice. Right, I always feel like I gotta just be on that page with life, right? So I like to define what's going on. Hold on. Something just popped into my mind. Let me write it down. Yes. Okay. So let's define change, right? I like to be on the same page, everybody. Change is to make someone or something different after or modify. Replace something with something else, especially something of the same kind that is newer or better. Substitute one thing for another, right? And let's also define sacrifice. Sacrifice looks different for everybody. Sacrifice, let's see, an act of slaughtering an animal or person or surrendering a possession as an offering to God or to a divine or spirit supernatural figure. That's as a noun. That is sacrifice as a noun. As a verb, offer or kill as a religious sacrifice. Okay, so I guess they use the term sacrifice only in that religiosity type of way, right? So with what we're going to, act of possession of an offering or act of slaughtering an animal or a person or surrendering a possession, right? Let's use the word surrender. Let me just define surrender just so we can, get through that. Hopefully everybody's doing great today. Sending prosperity, peace, patience. We all need patience. All right, now probably going to tie into, my tongue is getting, because my mind is just running, right? To all y'all previous stutterers out there, shout you out. Just know that your mind is moving faster than your mouth is. I used to be a stutterer back in elementary school, and I realized just slow your brain down a little bit, just a little bit. You're already smart. You ain't got to prove it to nobody. Your brain is moving the way it needs to, right? So surrender means to cease resistance to an enemy or opponent and submit to their authority. And it says the action of surrendering, right? So today's topic is change requires sacrifice. So what I hear about when I hear change, right? I'm doing a lot of huffing and puffing today. I don't need to do that. Spiritually, that means that you're sighing. That means that you're carrying a heavy load, right? Most times it's subconscious, or it's generational, or it's anxiety, right? For me, I know exactly what it is. So I'm doing my best. I'll be back at the gym today again to, do in a healthy way. I'm not the type of person to pour out my vomit to somebody else. My emotional, what's it called? Emotional damage. No. I'm not doing that, right? Yet, change requires sacrifice. In order to get in that uncomfortable place of change, I thought I heard something. You're going to want to have to let go. Ooh. You're going to want to have to let go. Shout out to that group, Beautiful Chorus. I got the whole playlist of like 3 to 5 songs. Please Let Me Be Brave. I Release. Let It Go. And I Have Everything. I believe that's what those are. Releasing those things that no longer serve you is what's going to help you bring about change. And if you're going backwards, change requires sacrifice. Sacrifice means to put aside something or someone that not necessarily may hinder your progress, yet it's not beneficial to your growth. I know for me, I'm normally asking of self, if they're not part of the solution, they're still part of the problem. Sometimes we have people in our lives where, yes, they may have been with us through thick and thin, and yet they had no resolution to your creating a solution. They were just there for the ride, right? They were just there for the anomalies that came into play. Yet change requires sacrifice. When you're realizing that you're in the same cyclical pattern for over too long, and yet in your mind, you're wanting to do something different, it's not happening. Why? Because you haven't made the steps to do or remove or put aside new time. Everybody got 24 hours in a day. Sacrificing something else that you were doing that probably was a professional time waster, whether it's a person, a place, or a thing, not doing the work, not putting yourself first. Right? So having to know that change requires sacrifice, what does sacrifice look like? And for everyone, sacrifice looks different because everyone is unique. The fact that we can know that everybody's unique and everybody has their own game plan for their life, everybody has their own decision on what they're choosing to do or not to do, should show that we are all here for a divine purpose. Some are in that category, some are in that category. And I think of the movie Hunger Games. You take that exam and you get placed. And if you don't place anyway, you're divergent. Welcome to the crowd. I call it the X-Men. But either way, you're here to produce change, right? When you came into this world, your parents had to rearrange their life. Not throw it all the way off, yet rearrange movement, because now you became the priority. You were the change. They had to sacrifice, whether they couldn't go play basketball. She couldn't go to the club. She couldn't, she had to stay home and do this. Or dad had to do that. That was a sacrifice because the change was you. And knowing how important you were to just those two people, one or whoever, the family dynamic, whatever it looked like, you were the change. You were the change. So remember that with you were the change. You were that one thing, that one person that rearranged everybody around you's life. So they sacrificed their time, their efforts, their money, their behavior patterns to make sure that they were a better model standing in the role that they're in, whether it be a parent, a sibling, or extended family. They had to change because they sacrificed for you. They didn't have to, yet they wanted to, right? So now you, as just as an example as a human being, now as an adult, you are now bringing about change, whether you've made children of your own or you don't. Your 24 hours of a day are in a place of, if I don't do this, I can't obtain this, right? You have those that are attempting to always try to rearrange a narrative and, I'm going to do it this way and make it get quicker. I'm not sacrificing nothing. I'm not changing nothing, but I want this. I want the $10,000 by tomorrow, but I'm not going to work for it because I don't want to trust the process. So I'm going to make change to, I'm going to go rob a bank. I'm going to go rob a bank and I'm going to get the money. Not realizing all that comes with cause and effect. Change requires sacrifice. So going back to the human being who wants to do something different now as an adult, that sacrifice is necessary. Maybe taking apart a little bit more, maybe going to bed a little bit earlier, maybe waking up a little bit earlier, maybe seeing how can I get time in within myself, take a nap, shower, do what I have to do, go to work, balancing, because that scale of change is like, okay, if you do too much, you won't have time for nothing. If you don't do enough, you ain't gonna do nothing. So it is getting to a place of finding out what it means to change, what it looks like to change. Is it scary? Yes. Is it worth it? Even bigger, yes. The sacrifice comes with a goal, a timeline. Let's get here by this time, right? That's that plan, right? And don't forget, we still have life's obstacles that still will come into play, even though we're sacrificing, even though we're putting time aside because we want change, right? Think about someone who's deciding to buy a house. That's a process. Yet you're willing to sacrifice whatever your leisure money is to put aside because you're going to need a down payment money. You're going to need the spending money. You're going to need closing money. Whatever other money you need, your lifestyle choices are going to have to be sacrificed in order to produce change, which is to get the keys to that house that you're purchasing, right? Yet it's being mindful of, in order to produce change, you have to get to that place of, I have to sacrifice something else. Something else has to go or has to pause, right? In order for me to do this, something else has to go down by the wayside. And it's still making sure that I'm changing because I'm choosing to do better. And that sacrifice is, no, the long term, I'm going to wait. Because I know that when I wait long enough, my change will come, right? Most of us are not always in that mindset of thinking putting forth the effort will bring about change. Not all the time. Like for those that are at the gym, I know for me, I'm there consistently. And I've been there off and on for, just a couple of years. And of course, for me, I know stress would bring about weight, right? Weight is the burden of somebody else. I'm aware of that. It's all mental. Yet, if we're not knowing how to address it properly at that time, life shifts it a little bit, right? Life shifts it so that way we're not seeing it the way we need to see it, because we're still attempting to figure out how to get to the change. And if we get to the change, did we deserve it? Because did we really sacrifice when we did the change? Think about the individuals who do surgery for cosmetic reasons because they want to look a certain way. Mind you, their genes are not hereditary, no. Genetics, no. But you want change. You want to look like something you're not. Okay, so you're going to sacrifice. And with those surgeries, I'm sure we've all seen it, they come with a sacrifice, right? The sacrifice is you're probably still not content with who you are on the inside. There's still a void that's missing. You still want that external validation. You still have low self-esteem. So, there are different levels to change. There's different levels to sacrifice. It's up to you to decide and discern what is needing to sacrifice in order to bring about change. Most people, sometimes they have to get to that near-death experience and say, you know what? Let me look at my health a little differently. Let me check out what I'm doing and what can be done and what could be removed out of my appetite, out of my diet. Why? Excuse me, I need a nap. Why do I eat the way I do? That was my body telling me, you need to take it 30 minutes, if not 10 minutes, something. Yet it's definitely a place of change requires sacrifice. In order for me to do better for myself, I got to sacrifice, stop what I'm doing, and go take a nap. Clearly, prime example, give thanks to ancestors. First of all, shout out my ancestors for everything they do, continue to remind me to do, continue to pour into me. I'm grateful, I'm grateful, I'm grateful. I'm humble. I am, words not describe how, right? I'm grateful. So yes, change requires sacrifice. Here was a second yawn. Excuse me. When a yawn comes, pay attention. It's time for a nap, right? So with that being said, right, we're gonna take it down. Just recognizing what it is that needs to change in your life. How do you feel when you're around certain people? How do you feel when you're not around certain people? How do you feel with your life right now? Are you content? Are you grateful? Are you in abundance? Sometimes you just say, oh, I'm just blessed and highly favored. Are you? Do you think you need to be blessed and highly favored? With what you're doing right now? Okay. Believing that everyone's perfect. We're not. We're human beings. The imperfection of our lives is what makes us perfect for who we are, for our greater purpose, right? We all have past experiences. We all have things that deter us off our path or pivot us to a different direction. We're supposed to be going here, but here we go. And now we got to, remove the regret, bring in forgiveness. Change requires sacrifice. I hope y'all caught that. Remove the regret from that pivotal point, because when people regret that, people are like, oh, if I didn't go, that's right, if I didn't have that child. Well, they did ask to be here. Let's start there, right? Let's start there. I would edit these yawns out, but I'm not going to. That's the whole organicness of this podcast, right? Just know how important change is for sacrificial things. Thankfully, no one has to be a sacrificial lamb any longer. That was in the folklore, in the Bible they talk about there are things you got to sacrifice. The most things that we sacrifice right now as a human being is time. We sacrifice our time. We sacrifice our time thinking back to the things that we didn't have before, and now all of a sudden we think we need it. Yet we're not pouring into ourselves. And most people are not the Most people are not the alchemists that they need to be for their life to sustain what they're looking for, right? They're needing to see, hey, I need to be better because my world needs to be better. My world ends when I end. I'm not ready to end. Yet, I can't see myself in this rut any longer. Something has to change. And if I feel as if I've been a little traumatized or something has to change. I have to sacrifice being in this environment to be in a better area. Or I have to sacrifice having these friends to not having friends, to isolation, protecting my peace, protecting my energy and everything. Do what I have to do. I have to sacrifice that. And that's okay. And that's okay, because then you realize the real friends, the real, genuine, authentic people would either return or you'll meet new ones, right? Because change requires sacrifice. All right, y'all. With that, I give thanks. I'm grateful. I'm honored. Y'all have been here listening with me with another episode with Dilate the Dialogue with Denise Camille, the Urban Love Therapist, Self-Awareness Coach. I'm grateful, y'all. Y'all take care. Hey.